listen, before we get into today's video, make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe to JabarLansBrown.com and the Manhood Mentor on all social media platforms so that you stay updated on the content, the merchandise, and our calendar, all right? And make sure that you guys send us a text at 855-291-5651. Send us a line and let us know how we can help you out within your journey in manhood, all right? Cool. Now, the title of today's lesson is considered how to get people to introduce you, how to get people to refer you, right? How to get people to lend themselves to your advancement, lend their credibility to your progress, right? When a person introduces you to someone, that is in essence them vouching for your character, vouching for your habits, vouching for your behavior, vouching for whatever it is that you two have in common with one another, and lending their credibility with that person that you're being introduced to. They're lending credibility to you meeting that person as well. And this is important to your success as a man, guys, because no man can do everything on his own, right? So let's look at the definition of that word introduce so that we're all on the same page with the context that it's being used in, right? So to introduce someone means to present someone by name. This is important. To present someone by name to another in order to establish an acquaintance. To present someone by name in order to establish an acquaintance. So now, which is to safely assume that the person who's introducing you has already made an acquaintance with that other person who now you're receiving the introduction to, right? And this is important, guys. So now, the first thing on our list of how to get other people to refer you or introduce you, right, is to take care of yourself, okay? This is important, man, right? We always give you tools that you can use, right, because we want to see you win out here in manhood, right? Every man has to make sure that he's making acquaintance and being introduced to quality people because it accelerates your growth, your progress, and it expands your reach, all right? So the first thing on our list and how to get people to refer you, introduce you, is to take care of yourself, okay? Now, the reason that we say to take care of yourself, okay, is because, right, nobody wants to introduce you and you not looking right. You dig what I'm saying? Nobody wants to introduce a dusty person. Nobody wants to introduce a person who's physically unattractive. Nobody wants to introduce a person who has steak breath and rotten teeth. Nobody wants to introduce a person who doesn't take care of their hair, doesn't take care of their clothes, wearing things that are unbefitting of a man, wearing things that make you look foolish and childish and immature. You don't want to do that, man. That is one of the quickest ways to not get you introduced to people, because in order for a person to introduce you, they have to like you enough and respect you enough that they are willing to lend their credibility to you in order to be introduced to this other person, right? So the first thing you got to do is take care of yourself, right? The second thing you got to do is to be trustworthy, okay? You got to be trustworthy, man, right? Now, being trustworthy is an invaluable characteristic, right? This should be one of your values, right? Which is to speak with integrity, speak with clarity, and to make sure that if there is ever any misunderstanding, you clear it up, right? You know, in the hood, in our neighborhood, in our community, you know, we like to say what's understood don't have to be explained. That's not true. Let me tell you this, champ. That's not true, man, right? What's understood, right, still needs to be explained because we don't want any misunderstandings. So if it's ever any residue or hint or lingering effects of a misunderstanding, you as a man, you want to resolve that. You want to clear the air. You want to make sure that everybody is under the same pretense so that your trustworthiness and that your character never comes into question, right? Because if it does, this is one of the quickest ways to not get you introduced to other people who may be able to help your campaign and accelerate your progress, right? So number 3 on our list of how to get people to refer you or introduce you is to display positive characteristics, okay? Right? To display positive characteristics. Okay? Now, when you're displaying positive characteristics, what does this mean, right? To display positive characteristics means to always have a outlook of optimism. You're always looking at the upside to a situation, not looking at the downside, right? You always thinking constructively and thinking in ways to provide a solution and thinking of ways to resolve issues and thinking of ways to make your group and your social circle better, right? The person who's willing to introduce you, he's going to notice these things, or she, right? Because women, they love to help us. We love women, right? The woman or the man who is willing to introduce you always assess your character in a way that they want to be sure if they introduce you, you won't embarrass them. So when you're displaying positive characteristics consistently around these people, this makes them more comfortable when the time comes for them to introduce you into someone within their social circle. And now that relationship can be expounded upon due to your consistency in displaying these positive characteristics, right? So the number four thing on our list of how to get people to refer and introduce you is don't talk about other people, man. All right? Now, I know that this can be hard, especially when somebody else may be talking about you, right? But I'm telling you, if you can manage this, right, don't talk about other people. Even the person who's talking about somebody, if they try to get you to feed into that and talk about that same person, even if you may agree in your mind, you don't always have to say something out of your mouth, okay? It's only concrete when you say something out of your mouth. You don't have to say anything, even if you happen to agree in your mind. Why? Because this is unproductive to you. This is not a positive characteristic. And based on the situation, your perspective in that moment could be wrong, right? Because this person feels a certain way about somebody else. It's not for you to speak on that, right? Nor is it really for you to listen to, right? You want to keep the energy high. You want to keep the frequency high, right? You want to keep the exchange constructive and productive. So if anybody comes around you talking about somebody else, you remove yourself from that circumstance, and you don't sit right here and entertain it or suggestively allow them to bring you into it by listening and giving subtle nuances if you agree. No, listen, wrap that up real quick. Look, family, I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't even want to speak on that. I want to keep our energy, I want to keep our level at a certain height so that we can continue to be creative and keep our encounter with one another positive, right? This is important, man, because these behaviors, other people are always watching, and what you don't want to do is end up misrepresenting yourself in the presence of those people who can and have the power to introduce you to people who may be able to help you, right? So look, the number 5 thing on our list of things with how to get people to refer you or introduce you is to spend your free time constructively. Okay? Right? Spend your time constructively. Alright? Now, when you're spending your free time constructively, how does this help you get introduced to other people, Jabbar? Let me explain to you. When it's time for you to get around groups of people, when it's time for you to hang out on social time with various people, conversation is much more casual. It's not always about business. It's not always about money. It may be about women. It may be about traveling. It may be about a particular hobby that you pick up, right? How do you have these different experiences that you can talk about? How do you have them? You have them because of how you're spending your free time. Hello, you got it? Spend your free time constructively so that you have constructive things to talk about when you're in a social environment. Those people who have power and influence, the more you're around them, the more constructive things you have to talk about in your free time, you become more interesting to them, which in turn brings you guys closer, and it makes them more comfortable and more likely to now feel comfortable with introducing you to other people who you may have interest with now that you've spent your time constructively and developed these experiences, right? Now, the 5th thing on our list of things that we can do in order to get people to feel more comfortable referring us or introducing us is you gotta protect your reputation, man. And I said this before on a previous lesson, but I gotta reiterate this because this is an important step with getting people to refer you or introduce you. You gotta protect your reputation, man. This is really important, okay? Now, how do you do this? Right? Protecting your reputation really ain't that hard. I know it sound hard. I know it sound like something negative. I know you're thinking about the mob style. when you know, on, I think it was Goodfellas or one of the mob movies, when they said you gotta protect your rep. Listen, protecting your rep don't mean that you gotta go around here and try to intimidate nobody or try to take advantage of people. That's not the lifestyle that we're in. Protecting your reputation means you presenting yourself consistently as the truthful person that you are, right? You presenting yourself consistently in an accurate way, okay? If you don't like something, if you do like something, if you participate in some things, if you don't participate in some things, right? Whatever it is about you that's truthful about you, you're consistent in the way that you're presenting yourself. You're protecting your reputation, right? You're not allowing yourself to be misrepresented in social circles. You're not allowing yourself to be misrepresented in public spaces. You're not allowing yourself to be misrepresented in private spaces either, right? You contain yourself, you contain your emotions, and you create a standard and a healthy boundary so that you always remaining upright, self-respecting, and fair and impartial in your judgment when you're meeting people, right? So look, guys, I know this lesson is going to help a lot of people, man. I know it is. And make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe to Jabbar Lance Brown, manhoodmentor.com on all social media platforms, right? Make sure that y'all send us a text, 855-291-5651. Shoot us a line. Let us know how we can help you. Continue to be blessed until the next video.